Hello and welcome back to the vlog. I think that's what they say at the start of these things. Anyway, I'm here with another flash fiction story from my collection, The First Flash of Hope, which is supposed to be 20 sci-fi stories. I'm on story number 11. I've actually been getting a little bit, yeah, I don't know what the word is, but confused with what I'm writing with it. I had some ideas and now I've got this far. Some of them are flicking out of my head and not getting fully formed. So I'm sure I'll still make it to 20 though. That was the plan, that was the challenge, the target. I have got another one, but it's the very last one. Not quite ready to go, but I've started it. But anyway, this is number 11, What Lies Beneath. Now, what I tried to do with this is make it a little bit different in that I've done a lot of stuff where I've written a story that seems to be going in one direction and the twist gets quite dark. So I've tried to make the twist a little bit nicer. I tried to flip the twist, if that makes sense. So this story is basically about people on Earth, and there's a gas that flows around Earth, and if it comes in contact with you and you breathe in too much of it, it kills you. We don't know why that's happened. That doesn't matter. Remember, it's a 1,000-word flash fiction story, so it's quite succinct and to the point. If you do want to read it, the links are below. And then obviously if you go onto Wattpad to read it, there's all my other flash fiction from this collection in there as well. So anyway, without further ado, let's read What Lies Beneath. When you smell it, you run. The stench barely touched our nostrils when we raised our heads, looking at each other. A carrot half chopped, cheese partly grated, both discarded. We needed no words, instead darting for the door, grabbing pre-prepared rucksacks on the way. Opening the door, heat engulfed us, the cool of the air conditioning a thing of the past. For a moment I became blind, the sun glaring in my eyes. We ran across the manicured lawn, not caring if we made any damage. Our gardener could sort it if we ever came back. Hitting the tarmac road, the heat penetrated our souls. We joined the throng of evacuees heading for the cave. The odour intensified out in the open, but we had no time to think of that, no time to consider the damage it did us. No talking, just a keen determination to make our destination as quickly as possible. Only two sounds filled our ears, the pounding of our hearts, broken up by feet hitting the pavement. Had we thought about it, we would have realised no birdsong filled the air. They had smelt it too, left long before our primitive noses picked up the scent. We made the cave, rushed through the large metal doorway, into the cavernous space that would become our living quarters. For the next few minutes, as more people flooded in, deep breathing replaced the sound of footfall. A moment later, the door swung shut, a clang signalling we were sealed in, that the gas could not penetrate us here. We were safe. We spent the next few hours setting up our rooms, each a curtained-off area with beds and storage. It may have been simplistic, but better than staying outside to die slowly. Our vital organs failed as the gas bit through them. I laid down, almost falling asleep, when a bell rang. The first meeting would start soon. My head dropped to the side. I opened my eyes. James looked back. "It's all right. I'll go." I nodded. My shoulders shook. My eyes shot open. A blurry vision of James bent over me. "You okay?" he whispered. I nodded back, not ready to speak. He read the cue in my eyes and relayed what had been discussed during the meeting. "Everything's fine here. The generator's working and the cave is secure. No gas is getting in." James paused a second too long before kissing my forehead. "What is it?" I asked. Sebastian and Jane heard sounds, like scratching below us. Some of us are going to investigate. I sat bolt upright, our heads almost smashing together. Before I responded, James said, "We talked about this. If the gas came, I would need to be one of the protectors of the settlement. That means I have to go as well." The argument had not lasted long. James knew I would not let him go, his only choice to take me with him. That is how I ended up here, stuck in a maze of tunnels, our new home sealed off both from the outside world and the rest of the cave system. I shivered. No heat penetrated this far below the surface, but somehow water seeped through rock, dripping onto the hard floor. Each time the freezing liquid struck me, I turned to look back at our path, hoping to return to our abode above, but would never leave James down here. Who knew what creatures lurked in the unexplored bowels of the earth? The scraping grew as our path sloped downwards. An array of torches, each offering differing amounts of light, showed obstacles in our way. At times we heard a clang, growing in intensity, then suddenly stopping. My mind created monsters, enormous spider-like creatures who scraped the floor as they shuffled along, horns protruding from their heads, smacking together as their males fought over their concubines. Without James, I would have frozen or fled home long ago. Time dragged. Although my watch indicated we had been down here for only an hour, my mind said it was days. With every step we edged closer to the noise, but still we searched, torches surveying the floor, walls, ceiling. Nothing but us appeared down here. I screamed. It came from a hole near the floor. A four-legged beast covered in thick black hair. Its eyes shone in the torchlight, large yellow teeth protruding from its mouth, a long thick tail behind. It looked around the size of a small dog. I stepped back, then realised there might be more behind me, so moved towards James. Was this the end? Eaten by a beast? Destroyed by a new scientific discovery? James looked at me. It's just a rat. A rat, I breathed out. So that's it. The noise is just rats. The scraping maybe, but that clanging is too loud. No, it's rats. We just need to get out of here. James did not hear. He was already continuing along the thin pathway. None of the others waited either, following their leader towards the ever-increasing scraping sound. Almost cloaked in darkness, I knew I had to keep up. I darted forward for 10 or so metres. Lucky I did not trip. The sounds were joined by others, bumbling, humming, banging. Finally we made it to the end of the path. In front rose a great wall of rock, and beyond, through a small crack, lived whatever made that sound. Again they did not wait, did not listen to reason. James first, then the others squeezed through. I barely stopped on this side, feeling more alone than ever. The fissure in the rock face was small, cutting me as I squeezed through. When I exited, I saw the team standing on a ledge, staring down, transfixed. What had they seen? Had something frozen them in terror? I joined them and smiled. There was a settlement down below. Other humans, alive and well. And there we go. That is the 11th story, flash fiction story from the first Flash of Hope, called What Lies Beneath. And yeah, hopefully you like the idea that I've twisted it to make it sound really scary and bad, and then suddenly it's actually something nice at the end. Yeah, so hopefully that works well. I quite enjoyed doing it that way because I had to think a little bit more about how can I build up a bit of tension and make things a bit scary and what's there, and then actually it turns out to be quite nice. So yeah, I suppose we finish the video with the same sort of things, like, subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to, fair enough. I'm quite glad you've lasted this long watching this video. And if you want any of my other stories, if you want any of my other sort of links to poems or information about what I'm doing, there's links down below to my X account. I think it's called now. It was Twitter. I know X is a bit, but my X account, obviously got the YouTube account here, my Wattpad for the first Flash of Hope, and my blog, which has everything as and when I do it. So for now, have a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye.